Thursday night.
Kitty Ella and Tracy Arlington are in court, charged with aggravated robbery. They knocked down an elderly woman and stole her purse. Mark Owensley faces Judge Paul Trevor on charges of menacing and robbery. These are the cases to be presented tonight on Juvenile Court. In the interest of exploring a vital social issue, WCPO TV presents Juvenile Court. These dramatizations are based on court cases. Our program will continue in just a moment.
All please rise. This separate session, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Division, and for the county and state, the Honorable Judge Paul Trevor presiding, is now in session. Please be seated. Your Honor, before this court is Mark Owensley, accompanied by his mother, Gina Owensley, and also Al Owensley. Mark Owensley is before the court for disposition of his case. He is charged with menacing and robbery. The incident for which he is charged occurred a week ago Saturday at approximately 4 p.m. After getting paid for work as a refreshment vendor at the stadium, Mark threatened a co-worker and took his paycheck. The victims identified Mark to a supervisor, and when Mark was arrested leaving the stadium, police found the victim's check in Mark's pocket. This is Mark's third contact with the court. Both prior contacts were for truancy. Mark's school reports that he is of average intelligence, but is failing in all subjects except gym class. He has a lengthy history of discipline problems, including 2 suspensions. His absentee record is bad, and his repeated truancies resulted in the first 2 court contacts. His probation period was troublesome, but ended 3 months ago.
Mark, you have a right to be represented by an attorney. Do you want to exercise that right?
No.
Look at the court. We have a few things that you may want to pay attention to. How did you persuade this fellow vendor to let you have his check?
I gave him a choice. If he didn't give it, no, the fool was gonna cash it in.
Look, don't start this and don't call him a fool.
How are you going to do it?
No, you tell him to shut up.
Let's let
Both y'all shut up.
Say what?
Now look, I'm going to give you, several of you, a choice if you don't pay attention to the court, and the choice is going to be either to behave yourself in this courtroom or to go someplace, be charged with contempt, and go someplace where you can cool off a bit. Now, let's...
You understand what he said, didn't you? I heard him.
Well, it also might apply to everybody. We want to have this an orderly proceeding. Now, Mark, let's go back to the point of the check. What were you going to do with it?
I was going to cash it.
Now, who's going to cash it for you if you weren't the person who's named on the check?
I had a partner that works down at a grocery store. He was going to cash it for me.
What were you going to do with the money?
I was going to use it to buy something.
Such as what?
Clothes or cigarettes.
Were you going to give any of it to your parents to help out at home?
No, why should I give it to them?
No, you want help? You ain't no help.
They don't give me nothing. I'm giving them nothing either.
Tell me about the job at the stadium. How long have you had it?
Not long. I've been working for a while.
What do you sell at the stadium?
Lousy peanuts.
You've been selling peanuts the whole time?
No, well, I persuaded this other smaller kid to let me take his ice cream route.
That's what you did. You took it.
Same kind of choice as you gave this fella whose check you took?
Yeah.
Why did you want the ice cream route?
Well, better tips. More money I can get, the better.
Look, stop this.
What?
Talk to him and don't be
just
picking
doing
with your
what's
hand.
in.
Talk to him.
Have you ever had any, done anything else like this?
Yeah, a couple times.
Tell me about that.
I took a few checks from other people.
Same sort of thing?
Yeah.
I gather you aren't a great success at school, even when you're there.
Well, if you say so, I don't.
Well, tell me about it. I'd like to hear what you say.
I think I'm pretty successful.
You like school?
No, can't stand school. Hate everything about school.
Why?
I don't know.
You need to be there. Look at you. You're going to turn out to be just like your father.
Be like you.
No, like you.
Both of y'all ain't no good.
Well,
What you mean?
Tell me about home. I gather that doesn't, from what I see in the courtroom today, that situation isn't all that easy either, is it?
No. Look at these two, the way they bickering in here. It's like a fight watching on TV. All we need is a referee to judge it.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I got 4 younger brothers and 1 older sister.
What kind of a place do you live in?
All small shack.
Shaq.
How many
You
rooms?
leave.
Oh, I'll leave, don't worry.
Now.
Leave then too.
How many rooms?
About 2 or 3, I guess.
How do
Can't even
you
count 3 rooms.
Well, whatever.
how do you fit everybody in there?
Oh, we got to sleep 2 to a bed. I usually sleep on the floor.
Do you sleep with any brothers and sisters any time?
My 7-year-old brother, and he just pushes me out the bed.
What do you think's going to happen to you eventually?
I don't know.
Any plans?
Nope.
You ain't gonna amount to nothing. You ain't want to worry about that.
I'm gonna get out of this family for sure.
Look at the 2 of them. I really picked 2 winners, didn't I? Look at them.
You ain't no better.
Well, tell me about it, Mrs. Owensley. What's the family situation? Where does your husband work? What's your source of income? Tell me a little. Give me
Well,
some
it's
background.
like this. I have 6 children, 6 kids. We started off with 1, end up with 6. It's very hard to raise 6 kids, especially when you got 1 rotten apple in the whole bird.
Shut up.
Shut up. What you mean, shut up?
You heard
See
me.
what I mean? And his father sits over there and talks to me like this.
Well, the court's not.
But you don't talk to me like that, though.
Now look, Mark, now, and you too, Mr. Owensley, remember, I'm going to give you that choice. We're not going to have anybody cuffed in this courtroom, and we're not going to have any kind of that back talk to your parents like that. If you want to do that at home, that's your problem. If you do it here, you've got a choice. Your choice is you don't do it, or you're going to be in contempt. Now, go ahead, Mrs. Owensley.
Well, Al, my husband, goes to work whenever he can at the gas station. He works there when they have any gas, and then when they don't have any, he comes home, which is most of the time. He could get a second job. I don't know why. You know, I have these 6 kids at home and have to take care of them. My older daughter, she's just beautiful, but this one, I really lost out on this one. I don't know what we can do about him. I'm just sick and tired of him.
I'm sick of you.
All the time. When he was a little kid growing up, he was okay.
Well, now, when your husband's not working, how is the family supported?
On welfare. We receive food stamps. They assist us some. But other than that, we just try to manage from day to day. We really can't afford to buy any fancy clothes or anything, you know, but he's been working. Mark's been working. It looks like he could buy some of his own, or at least give us some money to help out with the other kids in the house.
Well, now, Mr. Owensley, I'd like to hear from you. I gather you work at a gas station, is that right?
I work at the gas station, but things ain't been too good lately.
What's the problem?
See, that inflation thing and the not having the gasoline and the gas station only stay open part-time. I don't get to work too much. And then sometimes when it's closed, I do a little...
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Well, I do just a little bit of mechanic work sometimes. And then other than that, you know,
Well, we
the
don't see
support
that
of the
extra
family
money.
kind of got to take charity. The welfare has to take care of us.
I
We're
gather
looking
you-
hard for something better, though.
I gather you don't
Looking
get along
hard.
very well with Mark.
Huh?
Well, I just kind of avoid him. There's something wrong with him. I just avoid him.
You think anything we can do? There's anything we can do for him, Mrs. Owensley?
No,
I don't know. I don't want you to send. I don't want you to send my baby to jail, you know.
One
But
at a
at the
time.
same time, he can't stay at the house with the type of attitude that he got. He's, you know, he and his father are always into it. His father doesn't seem that he can control it. And I'm the mother, and I have those responsibilities. His father could do something. But look at him. Do you have any children, Your Honor? Would you want anything like this in your house?
I don't want somebody like you neither.
What you mean?
All right. Now, all of that is, to put it mildly, irrelevant. Do you have any problems with your son, or how do you get along? Maybe I should put it that
Well,
way.
you see, Your Honor, that robbery thing, I don't like that too well. And he just rotten. He's no good. Just like I said, I avoid him.
Just like my father.
Well,
rotten.
I tell you what we're going to have to do. I think we're going to have to do something. He's going to be a loser for sure. If he
That's what he is. You got it. He's a loser.
All right.
Look
If he
at you.
doesn't get out of this environment. So what we're going to do is to place him at Hillcrest School and hold him in detention pending that placement.
You gonna take him away?
That's right.
For how long?
Well, it depends on how things go. And we're also going to require him to pay costs.
Well, I won't be a...
Now, is all that understood?
No more. That's good.
That'll be all.
Yes.
What's the next case, Ms. Collini?
Your Honor, present before the court is Kitty Ella, accompanied by her mother, Lorraine Ella. And also before the court is Tracy Arlington, accompanied by her mother, Doreen Arlington. Kitty Ella and Tracy Arlington are before the court for disposition of their case. They are charged with aggravated robbery. The incident for which they are charged occurred a week ago Monday at 3:30 p.m. at a local shopping center when the girls knocked down an elderly woman and took her purse. A witness in the parking lot chased the girls. They were apprehended by the shopping center security. The police report indicates that the woman was uninjured and that her purse and $5 in it were recovered. Neither girl has had prior contact with the court. Both girls attend the same school and their records are related. Academically, both are of average intelligence. Kitty achieves at a B level and Tracy has a C average. Individually, they have no discipline problems, but together they do cause trouble. When they are in, when they are in class together, they require discipline, and their only problems at school involve pranks together. They were truant once together and have been suspended for setting off the fire alarm in the school.
Let's find out who's who first. Which one is Kitty?
I am.
And then you're Mrs. Ella?
That's correct.
And Tracy, you're Tracy, and you're Mrs. Arlington.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you two girls each have a right to be represented by an attorney. And I'm going to ask each one of you separately whether you want to exercise that right. Kitty?
No, sir.
Tracy?
No, sir.
All right. Well, which one of you is going to tell the court what happened at the shopping center? Maybe we better start with Kitty.
Well, last Monday after school, Tracy and I were kind of bored and we were kind of hungry. So we decided to go up to the shopping mall, which is near where we live, and get a pizza. So we did, and after we ate, we wanted to do something different. So we saw this old lady standing outside, and so we came outside and we staged this big argument. We acted like we hated each other. And since Tracy is bigger than I am, I acted like sort of she was, getting the better of me, or she was like a bully or something. And then I started, yelling and asking someone to help me. And what we wanted to do was to see if someone would actually stop and want to get involved. Well, sure enough, the lady came by and she dropped her bags and she came over to try and break it up. And then we didn't know what to do, so we just sort of pushed her down and grabbed her purse.
You pushed her down?
Yeah, we just pushed her out of the way.
Both of you pushed her out of the way?
Yeah.
Did she fall?
Yeah, I think so.
Then what happened?
Then we just sort of grabbed her purse and went off in separate directions.
Who grabbed the purse?
I did.
Had you talked in advance about the possibility of taking the purse?
No, not really.
Just sort of on the spur of the moment you thought you'd grab it. You had no thought of robbing anybody going in?
No.
Sort
Just
of
to get her off the track.
an idiotic and stupid thing to do, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you need the money?
No. It wasn't anything of value in the purse except for $5.
I gather everything's been returned.
Yeah.
And we were very lucky that the lady wasn't hurt. Tell me about you and Tracy. How long have you been friends and things like that?
Well, we've known each other ever since we were little. You know, we're like sisters, and since we are neighbors, you know, we get along real well, and we go to the same school. You know, we're best friends.
Why are you such a bad combination?
I don't know. You know, we never plan anything. It just sort of happens.
Tracy, I'd like to hear your version of what happened at the shopping center.
Well, we didn't mean to get into that much trouble. The Kitty had to go to the store for her mom, so I just went along with her. And then after that, everything happened just like she said, except it was her idea, though. I went along with it, though. I just wish that guy hadn't seen us.
Now, you understand that you're just as responsible for this as she is.
Yes, sir.
You are, under the law, you participated in this, and it's, even though she had the dumb idea to take the purse, you're in it with her. What is your version of your friendship? How did, I gather you're neighbors?
Yes, we're neighbors. We've known each other since we've been really little. Her mother's like a second mom to me, and ever since her dad left, she spends a lot more time at our house now. That wasn't until our mothers tried to keep us from being friends.
I gather you still manage to see each other regularly. How do you do that?
We have a signal that we use to meet at the secret place. We always switch the porch lights on.
Then you know that there's a particular place where you go and hatch your latest scheme.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's not so funny. There's some very serious business here. This is robbery. The woman could have been seriously hurt. We haven't even started to talk about the fire alarm at school, but that's very serious also. So don't take this too lightly, and I'm going to make sure you don't take it too lightly before I'm through this evening. Mrs. Ella, tell me about the situation in the family. There was some reference made to Kitty's father no longer being at home.
Well, that's right, Judge. I've been divorced for 3 years now, and Kitty is the oldest.
Do you ever see your former husband?
Well, occasionally, but he does visit the children once a year in the summer, and they go on vacation. Judge, I am just appalled by what has happened. I'm saddened, and I'm very angry, and well, I'm sure that you have encountered worse kids than this in your court. Alone, these two girls are very nice girls. Doreen and Luke Arlington and our family have been friends for years. Very good friends. And the children, as a matter of fact, these two girls are only 4 months apart in age, and they've grown up together, and they were darling. They were just like sisters, and it seemed like when they hit their...
girls.
Right.
Very sweet.
When they got into the teens, they became like a collective monster, you might say, and we've tried everything. We had to separate them, and we asked the school authorities to put them in different classes because they would, well, they would harass the teachers. And then the fire alarm going off, and then on Halloween they would dump the garbage cans in the neighborhood and booby traps and so on and so forth.
Well, tell me about the fire alarm, Mrs. Arlington.
Well, the fire alarm was, they said it was just a prank, but it doesn't seem like it's much of a prank to me.
No.
And when they are together, Judge, I'll tell you, what one doesn't think of, the other
one
does.
That's true.
And that's why we've tried to separate them. They are good girls.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to, you know, say that they're not, because we love these girls. And of course, Lorraine and I have been friends for years.
Where's Mr. Arlington tonight?
Oh, he has a job at an auto plant. He works the late shift.
How does he get along with the youngsters?
Well, he gets along just fine with them. Mm-hmm. Tracy is the oldest of our 3 children, and he gets along just fine. You know, Tracy has no trouble with her daddy in most instances, but when these two are together, we just have a real problem. It's a lot of bad news. And we don't want it anymore. I'm getting mighty impatient with it.
And to hear them in court, you know, I still detect that they think this is really funny.
Well,
and,
that's
and it could have been very serious.
And so,
oh, what
so
they
could
did to that old lady was wrong.
Right,
and so could the fire alarm. Now
That's
we're
right.
gonna try to make the point here that this was serious. Now, the disposition applies to both girls. We're going to put you both on probation. We're going to both require you to spend, both of you to spend 1 week on the unpaid daily work detail. We're going to require you to pay costs, and we're going to place both of you under house arrest for 30 days. That means you stay home unless you go to school or to work or you're going out with your parents. Now, you can work out the problem of where Kitty stays while Mrs. Ella is working with your probation officer. All understood? That'll be all. What we saw tonight were two examples of how an environment can affect the lives of individuals. In the case of Mark Owensley, his home environment taught him not to be trusting and to be very selfish. Mark committed a crime of taking another boy's money, but his parents had committed a much larger crime as far as Mark is concerned. They committed the crime of selfishness, too worried about themselves and not about each other and their family. Instead of being willing to help Mark with his problem, they were willing to accept Mark's statement of being a loser. As far as they were concerned, their son hadn't done anything for them, so why do anything for him? In the case of Kitty Ella and Tracy Arrington, it wasn't the home environment that was the problem. They both came from very stable and loving homes. Their problems came from the influence each had on the other. Instead of using each other's positive traits to help the other, only the negative ones were surfacing. Friends should help one another. They may have thought they were friends, but in actuality, they were their own worst enemies. I'm Judge Paul Trevor. Thank you for being with us, and good evening.
You have been viewing Juvenile Court, based on court cases. The names and places have been changed to protect the innocent, and any similarity to any persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Be with us next week when Judge Paul Trevor will convene Juvenile Court. This program came to you on videotape and was a WCPO TV Scripps Howard presentation.